G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. It's Saturday morning, it's the weekend. I'm down here at Circular Quay because I'm happily working today. Won't be working for too much longer. I'll be going home shortly to babysit my granddaughters with my beautiful wife Paula. But it's a overcast day, it's sprinkling. I don't know if you can see the sprinkling on the water here, but it's sprinkling and relatively still. There's a northeasterly, I think, looking at those flags, there you go. There's a northeasterly coming through and it's mild, it's beautiful, and it's a unique Sydney day. So let's go on a bit of a stroll and talk, a short walk and talk, and have a chat about a book summary that I want to go through today. And the book summary is entitled The Practicing Mind by Thomas Sterner. The Practicing Mind, and it's all about getting the best out of your focus, and to help us identify what we can do to improve our daily lives by managing the most important thing that we have, and that is our mindset. So the author aptly describes the following, and it's something which is important and wonderful to just contemplate and think about. And he said that the problem with patience and discipline is that it requires both of them to develop each of them. How interesting is that? That in order to develop one aspect, you need to practice the other aspect in unison in order to generate and get the ultimate benefit. That's a great lesson in life. And I guess the same is true with love. You know, in order to give love, you need to receive love, and in order to receive love, you need to give love. So it's one embrace, which is self-fulfilling, self-perpetuating, and ultimately the way to go. What we give, we get, and what we get, we must give, and just keep that cycle going. So the author once again focuses on a theme that is present in most of the books that I've been reading lately and talking about on Jim's 5am Club, and the importance of remaining and being present. He talks about it he describes it as present moment functioning, which helps individuals achieve a state of high performance by focusing entirely on the present and entering a state of flow on command. So this whole state of flow, this automated response where you zone out and just go with the flow and become one with what you're working with or working at, is something which is, I guess, described by a lot of these authors as the state to be in order to be a leader in your field and to make the most of what talents you have. So let's just move on to the key points from this wonderful book. And the author here talks about the importance, once again, of completely forgetting about your end goal, and just to work towards it, to believe in the process, to act on the process, to be in the moment, and not to spend too much time. I guess the key message is, don't spend too much time planning your future, because planning it and deciding what you want to do, you can do in a heartbeat. And working out the steps that you need to do, you can do in maybe 2 heartbeats. But the rest of the heartbeats should be invested and expressed in getting the things done, putting your head down, believing in the process, and not thinking too much about your goal. Otherwise, it may bring you undone. Because it's the real work that gets done when you manage to shut out the bigger thing, and an hour or two of focusing on getting things done will get you much further down the track than sitting and wondering about what needs to be done. We've all been there, we've all been sucked into that vortex of spending too much time thinking about the task at hand, whereas the author says that once you've decided what you do and you know what you need to do, then all you need to do is just bloody do it, get it done. And we think about and we talk about a little bit more about why people procrastinate and what causes procrastination. And procrastination in many ways comes from being overwhelmed by what you need to do and how you need to do it. So when you keep on reminding yourself about the big picture, about the big goal, what happens is that sometimes, because the goal is so big and so far away, and you look at where you are at the moment and you go, wow, I may never get there. Sometimes what happens is that for some people who are easily discouraged, they get discouraged, and because activity and doing things isn't as much fun as what you thought it was going to be, what happens is you start thinking about what you're doing, you look at yourself, you look at your goal, and then you say, bloody hell, I'll never be able to achieve this, it's all too hard. And what most people do, unfortunately, is that they give up at that first hump, the first hump in the road, because every road has a hump in it, and they give up at that first hump, and instead they console themselves with some sort of distraction, be it food, be it alcohol, be it catching up with friends for a coffee, and instead of doing what they need to do in order to achieve their wonderful goals, they end up just wasting their time, procrastinating, and just being distracted, conveniently distracted. And we all do it. We've done it time and time again. It's not as if it's something that is strange to us. The art of distraction and the art of giving up, everybody's a master at. And it's the natural state. So the author then moves on and talks about the importance of not using your goals as an indicator of how much progress you've made. Because once again, if you're looking too far into the future, you're not going to be happy with where you're up to, and you're going to be overwhelmed. So the author sort of describes that if you're assessing, or if you're spending time assessing where you're currently at by looking at where you want to go, you're setting yourself up for a miserable life, because it's like the little kids, you'll always be saying, are we there yet? Are we there yet? And that anxiety, that stress will derail you if you're not careful. So we need to be careful. We need to be mindful, and we need to understand the science behind it. Because if you're too focused on the future, then you're going to be living in anxiety, and you're going to be living to a certain extent in misery. So once again, the key lesson is believe in yourself, believe in the process, do the job, do the activity, and just measure yourself against the activities that you've set yourself, and just continue to plod along, because sooner or later that winning post will be within view, and that will give you extra momentum and extra energy to keep on going. Because the thing is, as we know as children, you're never there yet when you're looking at where you're going. You're never there yet. You're better off probably just looking at milestones along the road and making sure that you're close to those milestones. But in terms of that end goal, to be looking at that end goal and focusing on that end goal all the time, will mean that you're never going to be happy and you're going to be disappointed because you're never going to be there yet. So the author suggests and makes a valid suggestion that sometimes a better thing to do is to look back, just like this boat here, looking back, and you're better off just stopping, stepping back, turning around, and actually looking back and seeing how much you've progressed from your starting point, as opposed to looking how far you are from your end point. Because you will feel proud and look forward to taking the next challenge once you realise that you've made progress. And as a number of authors say, it's all about progress, not perfection. Whilst perfection is the goal, what we're trying to achieve, which we'll never get there, mind you, it's progress which we're trying to achieve on a daily basis. So the third point, the last point in this book, is to make sure that you that if you lose your focus, what you do is you need to do, observe, and correct. It's called the do, observe, correct technique to get back on track. So one of the things that the author raises, which is an important point because I'm highly distracted, I'm a distractible sort of person. They say that you need to notice when concentration drops and to ask yourself why you're losing focus. And a lot of the time it's because of negative thoughts, and you need to correct those negative thoughts and negative reactions and emotions by seeing how they impact your productivity, and to reframe what you're doing to make it fun, to make it enjoyable, and to make it something that's going to encourage you to keep focus. So with time, we all become better at self-observation and focusing on ourselves, and that's the last point to come out of this book. So thank you once again, everybody, for joining me on this episode, this wet episode of Jim's 5am Club. My notes have got little spotty blotches in it now from the light rain, but I enjoyed taking us on a journey of discovery and going through this book summary entitled The Practicing Mind by Thomas Sterner. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I'm well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and most importantly, stay real, stay raw, stay reasonable, and let's use our minds to make ourselves happier and more productive. And rather than focusing too much on the end goal, just focus and appreciate and embrace the process. Get those propellers turning, get that water churning, and start moving towards your goal, step by step in an incremental fashion. And as you get closer and closer to your goal, you can look back and look at that white water that you've churned up, and look how far Circular Quay or your origination point is behind you, and that will encourage you and give you momentum to continue moving forward and to appreciate your effort and to get going and keep going until you reach your ultimate destination. Yassas, Filakia from Jim's 5am Club, and we'll chat again. Bye for now.